Hello, my friends, and welcome to the semi-finals of GP Birmingham. We are here with Oscar Christensen and Loic Briand. These guys have made it all the way to the top four. Moraine Libert is in the booth alongside me, Riley Knight, to take you through our final, four competitors here after a massive weekend. Moraine, we've whittled it down to 8 and now down to 4, and all of these guys are going to be hungry for that trophy.
Over 500 made it into day 2. Only 4 are standing after the quarterfinals. Oscar Christensen, Loic Briand, Steve Hatoh from Luxembourg, a very strong performance by him once again, and from Spain, Alberto Galicia.
Yes, and we've seen we've seen an enormously diverse field throughout the weekend. It's been whittled down to these final 4, and a lot of them Temple Garden, or if you like, overgrown tomb decks. It's fair to say. I wouldn't say, however, representative of the tournament as a whole, because we've had decks of all stripes.
Yep, the one deck we have not seen in the top 8 is Blue-White Control. Did not put up a very good performance, but maybe it was just not the weekend for it.
No, perhaps not. I mean, we did see it amongst the top tables late into day 2, but it wasn't able to push it over the top and make that top 8 performance. And so people came with their celestial colonnades ready to get up and about with them, but perhaps fortune hasn't favoured the blue-white mages to the extent that people were expecting, perhaps. Oscar Christensen and Loic Briand here. Looks like they're getting involved with some mulligans before they can begin.
You asked me at the beginning, do I bolt the Birds of Paradise if he goes for his bolt? If he's on a mulligan to 5, I snap bolt it.
Every time?
Yeah.
Every time. Well, we already have discussed the role that the burn player has to take here. In many cases, aiming those lightning bolts, aiming those lightning helixes straight at the dome here. But if your opponent is down to 5, Moraine, that changes, does it?
Yeah. If there's a good chance he's got only 1 land, and even if he has more lands, he's still down to 5 cards. Bland Birds is only 3 cards left in hand. I think I'd rather take a shot at him being screwed.
And just hamstring that play to make sure that the Counters Company player can't get off to a quick start. But certainly Briand will be very happy with how things have panned out so far. His opponent mulliganing rather aggressively, you have to say. I think he's on 6 as well.
Yep, he's on 6.
And Christensen now hoping for one of those 5s that is, going to treat him nice. Jeez.
It's a lot of Court of Calling.
Is it 3 copies of Court of Calling in his hand? It is. 3 copies of Court of Calling.
Might be 1 collected company.
And a Verdant Catacomb. He's got to go down to 4. He doesn't like it. He's had a look at the top cards. You never look. You never look. Mate.
Always look.
Never look.
Always look.
Hashtag never look here. What are your thoughts? Call in 131060. Let us know what you think about always or never looking.
I always look, and I always regret looking.
Exactly.
But I still look.
You still look, even though you know that the regret is incoming, like a heat-seeking missile.
I just take it. I just want to know, man.
Yeah?
I just want to know. Was it a good decision or not?
Jeez.
It's always a good decision. You should not let it influence you, but you still look.
You still should look.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Moraine Libert, there you go. You've certainly assembled a much more impressive resume than me. So that's maybe what is lacking from my Magic career here. Maybe the fact that I never looked before, just after I mulligan. Anyway, Loic Briand here. He'll be sitting pretty. He's on 6 cards, but his opponent already, Oscar Christensen, down to 4. Oscar Christensen, we've got across this guy a fair bit in the feature match area throughout this weekend. He's really impressed me with his play. He's taken some very interesting lines. He's played very sensibly when it's been called for. And now he's on the old no-lander, unfortunately, after going down to 4.
I think I keep. It's unfortunate that he's on the play, but it's a Noble Hierarch, yeah. Saying go. Ah, there's the land. We've got number 1 in the pocket.
All right. Scryed at the top for Oscar Christensen.
As bad as no-landers come on a mulligan to 4, this is a pretty good one.
Yep. We've got Noble Hierarch. Loic Briand, though.
Do you attack if you're Loic Briand with the Goblin Guide? You don't, right?
Oh, geez, yeah. So you don't want to give him the extra land.
No.
So important there. Verdant Catacombs. What are we going to find inside a Temple Garden is where I'm thinking. No, it's going to be this forest here, preserving his life total.
Skullcrack, Lightning Helix, and Lightning Bolt. I'm guessing he's going to kill that Noble Hierarch. He knows that that's the only land he has.
Yeah.
2 lands off the top, and Oscar is in the game. He draws
so
another land.
We talked about this exact scenario, whether those burn spells do get pointed at the creatures, and I think Le Brion in a real position to turn the screws in his opponent and punish him for this mulligan even further, and it is Lightning Helix at the Noble Hierarch Moraine, just like you drew it up.
I'm still not sure if it's the right call, because he does have this... Yeah, you don't want your opponent to play a turn 2 Kitchen Finks. You just got to do it. It's a little bit hard, because he does have a lot of lands in hand. He's got 2 more lands or 3 more lands, so he's got a lot of damage to deal this turn.
One thing that's always perplexed me about Lightning Helix and this version of the art, is she being hit by it or is she casting it?
She's obviously casting.
I don't think it's obvious that she's casting it. She looks really unhappy. It looks like she's just been hitting the scone by one, to be honest. Look at that, she's going, I'm dead. Speaking of dead, Oscar Christensen on one. There we go. That's much more. Oh no, but maybe Ajani's being hit by it as well. Well, look, this debate will rage on.
Rage is not the answer. Rage followed by Fitting Vengeance is the answer.
Yeah.
So he's definitely casting it.
That sounds like the words of a Sith to me, to be honest. Lava Spike, getcha.
16. It's a start.
And ships the turn. Oscar Christensen, his deck refusing to cooperate. Skullcrack as well, get you to 13 now. And Loic Le Brion just having to go through the motions here, Moraine.
Yeah. 13 divided by 3 is 4.333.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs 5 more of these to get things done.
And still no play for Christensen. Jeez, not only 3 consecutive bad hands, mulligan to 6 and then 5. He's also hasn't drawn a second land.
It's going to be
Goblin
there.
Guide.
Oh!
Snags it. No worries. Look
11.
at that. Down to 11 now. He's found his second land.
It's going to be 10 if he cracks that.
Mm-hmm.
How many basic lands does he play? Because cracking here is not really what he'll be doing. He doesn't have basic planes.
No. 3 forests, however, so he can continue to painlessly develop his mana. There is the Goblin Guide. The best card in Magic, according to some.
Not even close. Look at that scout. I also love this picture.
Yeah.
Although
it's like, guys,
the
come here. It's fine.
Where's the lantern?
Yeah, he doesn't have. He's changed it for a little map here. Look how many maps he's got, though. What if it rains?
He's been all over the world. He needs a lot of maps.
Yeah. This guy, his maps are all over the shop as well. He doesn't take care of them, does he? Skullcrack.
Put you at 8.
I think all the way down to 7 now after that fetch land activation. Devoted
Attack is 5. Does he have... He's got a lightning bolt?
Le Brion up to 22 after we've seen a lightning helix. Another attack for Goblin Guide. And... Oh, look at this. Oscar Christensen, the luckiest man alive when it comes to his Goblin Guide triggers.
He might actually block here. I think the block is the right choice.
Go on.
Because you stay at 7, so double bolt doesn't kill you, which is very likely because Loic still has 4 cards, and then you can play the Kitchen Finks, gain 2. And Loic has already played 2 Skullcracks, so what is the chance that he has a 3rd copy?
Okay. Christensen having a think about probably exactly the same things you're saying here, Moraine.
Although, if you don't block, you do have the kill next turn, because there's the Vizier, but he's gonna block. Yeah, he's definitely playing to his outs. Loic is a little bit land flooded.
Yep. Lightning Bolt, land, and Skullcrack in hand. So here we're going to see Kitchen Finks, and an immediate follow-up, I would imagine, is going to be Skullcrack number 3. That's unfortunate for Christensen, as he's not only going to not gain the life from the Finks, he's going to take a further 3, go down to 4.
Oof.
So Le Brion is drawing live here. Basically, any spell he draws is going to push through the damage he needs.
That's a lot of the times the case when playing Burn. That top of the deck has to treat you well.
Yeah.
It often does, because there's just so many cards with the same effect. But when it does not, it feels bad.
I mean, you've got 20 cards that all more or less have exactly the same text here. There's Le Brion, Goblin Guide, and that's going to do it. Lightning Bolt upstairs, in addition to the attacks with the 2 guides, can only block 1, and Christensen goes down in game number 1 of the semi-final here. The Counters Company deck walking ever closer to the edge of this precipice here, but Le Brion, he's very happy to be up at the first end of the first game here, Moraine.
Told you it was the best card in Magic, in Modern.
Goblin Guide?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, straight from the horse's mouth. These guys are going to hit the sideboards now and see what they can do to tilt the matchup in their favours. Let's see what Oscar Christensen might be working with here. Dusk to Dawn, Eidolon of Rhetoric, Kataki's War's Wage, Linvala, Orzhov Pontiff, Kasali Pride Mage, Selfless Spirit, and Sigarda, all one-ofs there, and 3 copies of Sin Collector and 2 copies of Path to Exile. Which cards, as a dedicated red mage, What are you looking not to face across from there?
There's not that many people. These times are not running a lot of live gain anymore. Path to Exile and Sin Collector are quite good, but I don't know. Not even sure you want to be sideboarding all of them.
Well, we'll see how things pan out as we check in with our other game here between Steve Hatoh and Alberto Galicia. It's black-green versus Abzan. So decks that have a very similar approach at this stage to grinding out their opponents. Abzan mid-range obviously picking up some percentage points through cards like Lingering Souls, of course, the marquee card of the Abzan mid-range deck, and of course other things out of the sideboard, Stony Silence and so on. However, Steve Hatoh going for a more consistent approach, being able to play more basic lands, maybe save a couple of points of life here and there with his fetches and shocks, and not giving up too much when it comes to the ability to just grind them out like a miller.
Yeah, I think the biggest card for Steve Hatoh is Liliana the Last Hope, as that is actually a perfect answer to these Lingering Soul spirits. Kitchen Fink's also very good in this matchup. And obviously Alberto wants to play as many Lingering Souls as possible.
Lingering Souls, of course, other Liliana of the Veil, she tends to be very bad against Lingering Souls, but it's a very different matter when it comes to Liliana the Last Hope, because she can just machine gun them down while gaining loyalty.
Kitchen Finks, does Alberto actually have any Kitchen Finks? I don't think so. He's got 4 copies of Lingering Souls as his 3 drops. He does have a lot of 2 drops, 3 Grimflayer, 3 Scavenging Ooze, and 4 Tarmogoyf. And for Liliana of the Veil. Liliana of the Veil not that good against opposing Kitchen Finks.
No, that's very true here. Hatoh may have the edge on a couple of different axes, and he also has 4 copies of Dark Confident, whereas Galicia is choosing not to run those cards, Grimflayer instead, and those are backed up by 2 copies of Kalitas at the top end. And of course, when you're playing Dark Confident, you're not wanting to put too many 3s and 4s in your list.
No. There's a couple of Tireless Trackers, Lilianas, but apart from that, all of these cards are very cheap. 2 minutes from post, not a single 4. Maybe in the sideboard a couple of. No,
not a 1.
Nope,
not a 1. No, sorry, Damnation.
Okay, 1 Damnation. Apart from that, filter costing us less than 4.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting sideboard options for Hatoh as well, in the form of things like Fulminator Mages, 4 of, backbreaking against many of those decks that also are looking to get ahead on lands, you know, Tron and Scapeshift and so.
Alberto down to 4 life, facing a 5/6 Tarmogoyf and a Kitchen Finks.
He's in a lot of trouble here. Hatoh sitting pretty on 22. Doesn't look like he's been under siege too much here from Alberto Galicia. Galicia over with the full grip, and you'd hope he'd have some kind of answer here. It's going to go down to 2. Wow. Gutsy. What's the play? Lingering Souls. Well, that's going to stem the bleeding at least somewhat. He needed the white from the Overgrown Tomb here.
Godless Shrine.
Oh, sorry, the Godless Shrine, excuse me. The Overgrown Tomb remains untapped. Could be representing a fatal push. I see a go for the throat in his hand. That is a spicy one over there. Inquisition.
It's Dismember.
It's Dismember.
Your Eagle Eyes, where have they gone?
I don't know what's going on, mate. Need me glasses. Need to hop down to Specsavers. And unfortunately for Galicia, he's been knocked out of the first game, and we'll have to go to game number 2. 1 love down here to Steve Hatoh, who's picked up the first game. Well done to him. Black-Green Rock getting up against its Abzan Nemesis. And sideboarding also going to play a crucial role in this game as things continue on. We are going to check back in with table number 1. They're still shuffling up and getting ready, but we can still talk about these sideboarding options. We touched upon them a little bit, Moraine, our first table there. None of these cards that you said in the Counters Company list, as we mentioned, none of them are too backbreaking against the burn deck. No dedicated life gain spots.
No. The times where people could dedicate like 3 or 4 slots to the single matchup of burn are just gone. The format has gone too wide. They gotta be happy playing a couple of Kitchen Finks main deck, because these cards are good against more decks. I would love to see a 4th Kitchen Finks in the sideboard, because that one can come in a variety of matchups against, for example, blue-white control. I like Kitchen Finks. Against black-green control-ish decks, I like Kitchen Finks. But he doesn't have it. Instead, he's got to go with maybe Path to Exile or Sin Collector.
Let's have a look at what Loic Le Briand is working with here. 4 Destructive Revelry, 2 Grim Lavamancer, 2 Core Firewalker, 2 Path to Exile, 2 Shattering Spree, and 3 Relic of Progenitus. What's jumping off the page at you here, Moraine?
the relic could be a nice addition, so that Kitchen Finks doesn't come back. Also a way to stop the infinite mana, but I'm not 100% sure you want to sideboard that. But the card that is certainly gonna be bringing, in, and that's gonna make a big difference is Grim Lavamancer.
Grim Lavamancer away for the burn deck to just continually pressure the opponent. Not so much their life total, but more or less the creatures that they're playing. 2 damage on a stick every turn. Morena knocks every creature that the company deck plays out of contention. I think I don't think there are very many of the creatures in the opposing list that actually have more than 2 toughness.
Nope, there's not. If you flip the Duskwatch Recruiter, it becomes a 3/3. Scavenging Ooze can become a little bit bigger as well, but apart from that, none. There is a Walking Ballista which could shoot the Grim Lavamancer, but there's only a single one, and he cannot Court of Calling for it, or it will become a 0/0.
Librion out of the gates like a shot here. With his Monastery Swiftspear.
No main deck plane surprises me. Because I mean, there must be circumstances where you want to fetch that, right?
Yeah.
Am I just missing it?
Well, maybe. It's not on the list.
No,
it's not on the list at all.
4 Windswept Heat, 4 Verdant Catacombs, but not a single main deck basic planes.
No, not a single planes at all in the entire list, in the 75. Relying on cards like Razor Verge Thicket, Horizon Canopy as well as a 2 of. And this is the price that you pay when you're wanting to build a 3-color deck in Modern. It's going to affect your life total.
Talking about Relic of Progenitus, there it is. Could actually be good now, because Loic could play it, trigger Prowess, make it a 2/3, and then attack. And if Oscar blocks with the Kitchen Finks, sacrifice the Relic of Progenitus in response to the Persist, so that it gets exiled.
Yeah, nice little series of play here for Librion. But of course, Christensen will be very, very happy indeed to have played a Kitchen Finks on turn 2.
Yeah,
it's an excellent position for him to be in here.
He does have the Shrine, so he kept that card. A bit surprised by that. I do like the combo between Swift Spear and Shrine, because you do really want to play that non-creature spell on turn 2. And this one, yeah, it's no waste. It's gonna gain you more value. He's actually got the triple Swift Spear.
Triple Swift Spear.
But yeah, you don't want a triple Swift Spear if your opponent has Kitchen Finks. So maybe Relic plus Swift Spear, but that means the Kitchen Finks would come back. This is a tough turn already for Loic.
Well,
I like playing Relic attack for 2 and then play the second Swift Spear. You cannot play the second Swift Spear and just say go. I don't like that.
Relic comes down, immediately exiles the Verdant Catacombs.
Or maybe I would have just...
And no attacks.
I'm not sure.
Wow.
This is weird. I don't like this play.
Well,
because he's not using his second mana. If this was his plan, then he should have just played the Shrine, I think, and start ticking that up.
No, not meaningfully affecting the board with his Relic of Progenitus, and obviously Librion will be hoping to snipe that Kitchen Finks when it hits the bin eventually, but that means he's going to keep up 1 mana more or less all the time in positions where he's wanting to do that, and that, as you say, Moraine, can be very tricky.
I mean, the Kitchen Finks is not even the main combo anymore for the Counters Company deck. It needs 3 pieces for that combo to work, and there's only a single copy of his Keras here. He would need the Vizier of Remedies and the Court of Calling for it to be right to keep up 1 mana all the time.
Relic of Progenitus, a very useful piece of graveyard interaction for many of the decks up and down the format. Of course, we even see it included in the main decks of some cards, or some decks, I should say. Things like Scapeshift, often very thankful for a way to interact with the opponent's graveyard in a way that doesn't influence their deck too much. Vizier of Remedies, a new piece of technology brought about by Amonkhet, and has certainly had an impact in the modern format, more so than anywhere else, I would say. Pretty mediocre draft card.
Yeah, it's often you get to see these things. I mean, cards like Grimflayer. Well, Grimflayer is at least good in Standard too, but it's often cards that cost 2 or less that make an impact in modern or vintage.
These are the ones that people certainly have their eye on. When these cards are first released and announced, you have a look at them. If it costs 2 or fewer, I know that's what happens, with the Commander set that was recently announced, and we've been looking through all of the previews for that. And immediately the first thing we look at is, does it cost 2? Does it cost 1? Is this going to be playable in Legacy? Because the cost of the card is so important in these older formats when, the game is often decided in the opening turns.
Yep. And this is a tough game for Loic. He was on the draw facing a turn 2 Kitchen Finks. This means that the burn plan is probably not going to be very good, and skipping his second turn there is very bad news. He's going to go for that game, never going to tap out. It's not, I don't think that's a winning line. It's giving your opponent so much time.
And Christensen's going to take advantage of that time now and use a Court of Calling here for 2. He's beginning to put together the pieces he needs. Sagata in his hand as well. Wow, bringing in a 5/5 Flying Angel that costs 5 against Burn Moraine. Your thoughts?
Weird, but it could prove to be good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Now he's going to be able to untap and play it.
It's a very fast clock.
So, Devoted Druid is the play for Christensen. And you're right in saying that. I mean, Sagata, one of the toughest and most resilient threats in the entire format, really. So difficult to get rid of her outside of some kind of sweeper. Of course, a Stone Cold Killer against many of the black-green mid-range based decks here. And Christensen has the opportunity to dump her onto the battlefield right now.
And he's certainly going to do that. Attack with the Kitchen Finks and then play the Cigar. It means that Swift Spear not attacking anytime soon. And might actually mean that he's even winning the race against Bolt in a couple of turns. He's got Helix, Bolt. His hand doesn't even have that much. Oh, he doesn't even have Bolt. So he's once again not going to use that second land. I'm not really sure if this is the way you want to approach this matchup. I think you just got to ignore. I mean, the Relic of Progenitus, it's just wasting so much time.
Devoted Druid helping to power out this host of herons here. And Christensen with 1 mana left up. Why has he left up that forest?
He's going to play another creature. I think he's got a Recruiter in hand. So land Recruiter just adds some more pressure to the board. Swift Spear, Shrine. I mean, yeah. And now a Recruiter.
And a Recruiter comes down. So all 3 basic forests in play here for Christensen. There is the host of herons, as you see, with hexproof and a clause that prevents your opponents making you from sacrificing creatures. Means that, geez, she hits hard, she hits fast, and very, very resilient. Very hard to get rid of indeed. Rift Bolt coming down.
Rift Bolt. I mean, he's at 16. He can. This is another race he can win.
Duskwatch Recruiter.
Can the Swift Sphere grow to 5 this turn? It's 2 now. Lava Spike 3. No, it cannot. Maybe Boros Charm. Give it double strike.
Yeah, getcha. I think you just take it though, don't you?
If he attacks
with the Taylor Swift Spear?
Taylor Swift Spear?
You take it.
I would block.
No. It obviously signals something.
If he Boros Charms, he loses his Swift Spear and the Boros Charm. And then you're still... Well, you don't have much threats. He's holding just a land. So actually... a good point, I think.
If he goes land attack, you don't block.
Land attack, yeah, then there could be triple bolt. That's a good point. But no land attack, I think I block. Because Boros Charm pumps it and gives it double strike, so he still loses the Swift Spear. But then Oscar has no threats after that. It's actually a good point that I think Loic should try to bluff attack, because I don't think he can win without a bluff.
No, he's certainly got his back against the wall. He's given Christensen too much play. And this comes back to the earlier plays, when he wasn't committing more of the Swift Spears to the board, when he was playing the Relic of Progenitus and hamstringing himself with keeping that 1 mana up. That kind of was a bit loosey-goosey, to be honest.
Yeah, imagine this board with already the Swift Spears in play.
Yeah.
And now Lightning Helix added to the Rift Bolt, so that's 6 attack he missed.
He's missed out on all of those attacks, in addition to the mana that was spent on nothing with the Relic of Progenitus, essentially. Loic Le Briand has not done himself any favours in the way that he's decided to play this one out. Horizon Canopy's hitting the bin. It's going to cycle away now.
Horizon Canopy is a great combo with Renegade Rallier.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best ways to trigger that one, returning either the Canopy or something else in the graveyard.
Christensen. What are his thoughts moving forward as he looks to be in a pretty commanding position here, certainly taking his time with it.
I like attacking with the Kitchen Finks as well here. Well, maybe not this turn. Next turn is probably better. Because even if you put Loic to 8, you still need 2 attacks from the Angel. But I think next turn you do want to attack for 2 so that the clock is 1 slower.
So, Sigarda getting busy here, getting frisky. And knocks Le Briand down to 11.
Loic is not dead. Despite having not used a lot of resources, he's not dead. He can attack for 6 here. These triple Swift Spears will do a lot of work.
Lava Spike you, down to 14.
14. Attack. If the Kitchen Finks blocks, you sacrifice the Relic.
Attack with 2 of them.
Only with 2?
Okay.
Is he gonna block?
Well,
oh wow.
Straight up block with the Kitchen Finks here.
Some very surprising plays. I mean, I guess you could see the block because you don't want to go down to less than 5. But are you even winning the race if you don't attack? You're only attacking for 2 right now.
So everything's exiled and that Kitchen Finks doesn't come back.
Oscar is still at 12. He's got 2 chumpers in the form of Birds of Paradise and Devoted Druid. He's got to make sure he kills Oscar in 3 turns. There's no way out. The Sigarda is going to kill him with 3 attacks.
And it's back to Christensen now as he considers if he's got anything to do. He does not. And it's going to be him untapping and drawing.
He does have Gavany Township, right?
Gavany Township in hand in addition to
Noble Hierarch.
Noble Hierarch.
So it's 2 turns. Yeah.
Noble Hierarch cast.
No way there's going to be 12 damage with 2 blockers.
And Gavany Township as well to pump up the team here.
So attack for 7.
Attack for 7 in the air. That's a huge swing here.
2 blockers. If you Searing Blaze, that's 9. Oscar would go down to 9. Then Lightning Bolt the other creature. And then attack for 6. So he's 2 damage short with Searing Blaze, land, Lightning Bolt.
And you would think, wow, bringing in a 5-drop 5/5 flyer against a burn deck would be quite an interesting strategy here. But it's certainly paid dividends for Oscar Christensen as he has put his opponent within reach now of the Angel really completely overtaking the game and winning it for him, in fact.
I'm not sure if Loic would have won had he gone more aggressive, but I think he would have had a better shot. He's got double Searing Blaze. Yeah, I think he doesn't have a land, though. That's a problem. He never had the land to trigger landfall of the Searing Blaze.
Looks like Oscar Christensen may have missed the Exalted trigger here because he's knocked his opponent down to 5. You can see it written there on the live pad as well.
He knows he doesn't need more.
He knows he doesn't need it.
Sigarda, I'm safe.
Take that -1/-1.
Yeah.
I'll take the +1/+1 counter off her. Don't even worry about it.
What you gonna do? Double Anger of the Gods. Need some more mana for that.
Yeah, for sure. Le Briand looking at this hand here. Relic of Progenitus amongst the hits in it. I saw a Grim Lavamancer before, but I mean, I don't want to be too hard on the guy, but I think Le Briand does not. He's only got himself to blame here.
What about Lightning Helix? Gain 3, go down to go up to 8, so it might actually matter.
Yeah.
6, another +1/+1, 7, and Noble Hierarch. It's still 8.
He needs to remember the Exalted trigger this time because he only did 6 last turn.
And once again, not attacking with the second Swift. This time, I think it is correct because you do need some blockers in case the Devoted Druid and Noble Hierarch get in as well.
And Oscar Christensen looking to block here with a Bird's Paradise. A 1/2, of course, facing off against the opposing 1/2.
Yeah, so I'm guessing we're going to see Lightning Helix here.
Le Briand brings it to the front of his hand. Will he choose to deploy it? Yes, indeed.
On the Noble Hierarch.
Okay.
It actually works. Well played this turn by
Yeah.
Loic. No more Exalted, so it means that the Sigarda is not lethal.
Wow, Le Briand digging his fingers in here.
Then plays.
Yeah, he's getting it done.
Does mean that Oscar is still at 12 though.
Lands off the top.
Do you attack here? Yeah, you gotta attack. You could say that there's no reason to attack because next turn you do have 8 damage, but then if he has another Lightning Helix, you once again don't have lethal. so I like attacking. I mean, he's still at 12, still has that blocker in the form of Devoted Druid.
Hits his opponent down to 2 here. Doesn't activate the Gavany Township. Guess it doesn't matter too much in terms of the race here.
And no land once again. Still no Searing Blaze. Boar's Charm. No.
Has to pack it up. Loic Le Briand has gone down to Sagata, host of Herons here. Oscar Christensen leveraging the Angel very, very powerfully indeed. And these guys are going to go to a third game as they tie things up at 1-1. And Loic Le Briand here, I mean, those early plays may have cost him a lot, the Moraine.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not even sure you need to sideboard Relic of Progenitus. I like to stay with my main plan of just burning my opponent. I think if you're keeping up 1 mana all the time, you're just using too many resources.
Back to Steve Hatoh and Alberto Galicia now, with Steve Hatoh obviously having taken out the first game. And it looks like we've got dueling banjos here with Liliana of the Veil on both sides of the field. Maelstrom Pulse means that both of them are going to be destroyed, and don't even worry about it. Alberto Galicia is all over it. Unfortunately for him, that is the price, of course, you have to pay. Maelstrom Pulse does take care of it. It's a Detention Sphere-like effect, or I guess Detention Sphere is a Pulse-like effect, really, in fairness.
I'm surprised by Steve Hatoh in such a good shape in this game. Once again, not already one Lingering Soul's gone, and he's still in very good shape. He's gonna Eternal Witness, back the Dark Confident, and Alberto is empty-handed.
Wow, so this is a huge play here for Hatoh as he's going to continue to develop his hand. And on 21 life, he's in a good position to do so.
His build might actually, despite not having Lingering Souls, be slightly better in the mirror. I mean, he's got Dark Confidence, he's got Kitchen Finks, he's got Eternal Witness, all of these Tireless Trackers, all of these cards are very good in a matchup like this. He doesn't have the Lingering Souls, but he even has the answer in Liliana, the Last Hope, and has Scavenging Ooze.
Both these players looking to grind. They're looking to get on that grind. It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and they're looking to just grind like Bam Margera here. And this is what's happening with cards like Dark Confident, cards like Tireless Tracker, and, of course, Lingering Souls, the king of the grind. But right now, being outclassed by Steve Hatoh.
Nothing beats rock.
No, that is rubbish. Paper, I don't know why paper beats rock. We need to form some sort of tribunal about that. Tarmogoyf coming back as well, thanks to Liliana, the Last Hope. And an extension of the hand from Alberto Galicia. Wow, he cannot beat what Steve Hatoh had put together here. Can you smell what the rock is cooking, Moraine?
The cock.
Well, I'm so glad we don't have a dump button here, because Moraine Libert is opening his mouth to change feet here. Steve Hatoh has done very well for himself, getting up and about and winning 2 games to love. Congratulations to him, and we'll be seeing him. Moraine Libert, he is our first finalist here at GP Birmingham. As we go back to our first table now, Oscar Christensen and Loic Le Briand at 1-1. These players, of course, are this close, Moraine. This close.
Very close.
To a finals berth. They're going to have to work hard to get there, however, because it is not over yet. Counters Company versus Burn. We've already seen the Burn deck. Well, it's gone up and down like a fiddler's elbow, really. We've seen it win, we've seen it lose, and Loic Le Briand is going to have to do a little bit better than last time to get himself across the line.
Burn is on the play, though, this turn. So he's probably, I think he's slightly favored this time around.
Yeah, it's going to make all the difference, of course, if Le Briand can come out with a quick start, something like a Goblin Guide on turn 1, then he's going to be in a good spot to punish his opponent. But Oscar Christensen, we've talked about this already, Moraine. Turn 3 kills a possibility, and not even that unlikely a possibility when it comes to cards like Collected Company, pushed off the back of things like Birds of Paradise and Noble Hierarch. Kitchen Finks, I think, though, the key card here for Christensen.
Yeah, Kitchen Finks. I mean, we saw it on turn 2. That was just brutal. Even like Loic had the answer, well, the so-called answer in the form of Relic of Progenitus, but it actually meant that Oscar had a better game going on, because he had to keep up that 1 mana all the time.
Yeah, and that really hamstrung him there, because we saw how much it ended up with Oscar Christensen drawing a long way ahead of his opponent as a result of that early sort of, I don't even want to call it a stumble, because it seemed to be quite deliberate. I didn't like the line, and he ended up being punished for it.
Yeah, if he would have just played Swiftspear that turn, say go, and then the next turn make all of these Swiftspears the 3-4, that game would have been huge. I mean, I don't think he would have won, because he never drew that third land for Searing Blaze, but Yeah, it would certainly been a better play. It was still a very close game, right?
Well, I think it was not as close as it could have been if Le Briand had really put his pedal to the metal there. Oscar Christensen, however, look at this grip. It's an awkward one. Le Briand is down to 6. Is Christensen going to join him?
Double hierarch, double vizier?
I think it is.
Oh, wow.
I think it's also a Gavany Township in addition to a forest here. Christensen's getting up and about.
Yeah.
He's got his boys on the sideline.
I mean, every mulligan your burn opponent takes, you gain 3 life, right? That's
sure.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's very close to that.
Yeah, it might be closer to 2 life, but yeah, you're not far wrong. Yeah. You're not far wrong. Because, of course, Le Briand is looking at a card that is about, more than half of it is cards that do 3 or 4 damage.
And especially against this type of burn, where most of the cards have to go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
There were burn lists in the past that could rely more on the creatures, but this burn list is really all in on hitting your face. It does have 4 Swiftspear for Goblin Guide and the Shrine of Burning Rage, but even the Shrine gets worse and worse. Oh, look at that. 4 lands.
Oh, jeez. And a path to exile as well.
Oh, and Lava Spike. This is not a winning strategy. I don't like sideboarding so many cards.
Jeez. And this is brutal for Le Briand here. He's going to have to go down to 5 because, 4 lands, Path, and Lava Spike is just not where you want to be at all. I mean, Path, a pretty important piece of interaction when you're looking at a combo deck that needs instant speed answers. But, I mean, between all of your bolts and your Helices, do you really need a Path to exile?
No, I don't think so. Especially because there's not even... there's the Kitchen Finks. That's the only good target for Path to exile.
Yeah,
but it's not even a good target because your opponent already gained 2 life.
And is getting another land out of it as well. I mean, I don't hate Path to exile in the 75. I think it's really important. Death Shadow, Eldrazi, what have you. But I don't think you bring it in here.
No, I don't. I agree.
I don't think that's the right play here. And Le Briand's been punished for it because if that were 4 lands, Bolt and Spike, I mean, it's closer.
It's closer, still not good, though.
Still not good enough, says Moraine Libert, the famous mountain mage here.
Your mulligans to 6 need to have maximum 3 lands, I guess.
Right.
Or at least creatures in the early game.
This is looking better. This is looking better.
This is a good hand.
Yep. So Le Briand will be looking for another land off the top, of course, but things at least looking a little bit hotter than they were before. It's got a nice range of burn spells and an Inspiring Vantage to power them out with here. And it's going to stay on top very firmly placed on top there.
Swift Spirits get in. This time around, they're going to attack.
There we go. She knew Christensen was trouble the moment that he walked in, and she's going to punish him for it. 1 damage already coming across with Noble Hierarch, the follow-up play for Christensen on his first turn. And both plays, wow, doing exceptionally well here. Le Briand is coming out of the gates in a major way. Look at this. Swiftspear back in for 2.
Yeah. 14,
6 damage by turn 2. He's going very well, Le Briand, but of course Christensen did not have to take the double mulligan and does have a group full of cards. Noble Hierarch number 2 coming down, and we're going to see a fetch land.
And don't be too fast to fetch against burn, because a card like Goblin Guide, actually you want to fetch after the reveal, because sometimes you want to keep the card, sometimes you don't. It gives you another option.
Yes, a little sort of Scry-esque like ability against the old Goblin Guide. But in this point here, Christensen is developing reasonably well. That Searing Blaze is a real spanner in his works.
Yep.
But Le Briand is in a position where he may begin to run out of fuel.
Oh, he's got Lava Spike and Rift Bolt. He's getting in for 5 once again. Rift Bolt at the ready. Oscar at 9. This is the perfect draw. This is the perfect mulligan to 5.
Yeah, wow. And a Boros Charm as well, sitting in hand of Le Briand. So Christensen, I mean, he's going to need a Kitchen Finks.
Yep, he is.
He needs one very quickly here. Rift Bolt's going to come down next turn for another 3, which will power up Monastery Swiftspear for another point of prowess. In addition to that Boros Charm.
Rift Bolt has always dreamed to be a Lightning Bolt. It's a sorcery Lightning Bolt.
And here's Lava Spike as well.
Court of Calling. He's 1 mana short of getting the Kitchen Finks. He could get Ooze.
Vizier of Remedies.
Oh,
and a Kasali Pride Mage.
But he does have next turn. He's got the kill.
All right. Well,
Loic has to think hard about this one. Lightning Bolt to the face. He's at Christensen is at 5. And then...
But he just blocks, right? He's 1 mana short. He's 1 life short because the because the Rift Bolt goes to the head, in addition to the Boros Charm. That puts him to 1.
Yeah. So close.
So close, and yet...
Swift Spear attack, he's definitely gonna block Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
With the... I'm guessing with the... Ghazali, and if he does not kill the Vizier with this card, his Boros Charm is not able to kill the Vizier either.
Really, really tricky point of a decision-making here for Le Brion, and this is why we see Christensen playing very carefully with his fetch lands and so forth, because every point matters. We could see Christensen reduced to 1, but it's not enough. It is just not enough here. Christensen will be thanking his lucky stars that Gavany Township is not something like a Horizon Canopy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he has only fetched once. That's also a big difference.
I mean, Le Brion, what a 5-card hand he had.
If he draws Searing Blade, no, he doesn't have landfall. If he kills the Vizier here, attacks, Oscar is probably going to block. Thing is, Oscar doesn't have the kill next turn though, because Devoted Druid will have Summoning Sickness. So I think you have to go to the face.
Rift Bolt now.
I like going to the face here.
It's going to go upstairs. Le Brion knocking Christensen down to 5. Draws. Finds. Udia. Didn't get a look at it. Took it just off screen. He knows how to squeeze.
Attack.
Monastery Swift Spear coming into 2 now.
2-3. You've got to block. You might even double block.
Christensen has to block here, otherwise he is stone cold dead ski.
Problem is, if he double blocks, he cannot go for Kitchen Finks with his court. He needs the... He should actually block with the Vizier, right? Because otherwise he doesn't have triple green for the Court of Calling. Yep, well played.
Blocks with the Vizier here.
If he blocks with the Ghazali, he doesn't have triple green to get Kitchen Finks.
And Le Brion ships the turn. Wow. This one poised on a knife edge here. And he's got another Vizier in hand, of course. Gavany Township, as well as
Duskwatch
a Duskwatch Recruiter.
Can he play it? Yeah, he can play it. Land, Gavany Township is not legendary. So play the Duskwatch Recruiter, say go.
And then instant speed, flash in the Kitchen Finks.
Yeah, if needed.
I mean, do you just do it as soon as Le Brion taps out to play around a Skullcrack?
Yeah, probably. He's not going to play the Recruiter.
Doesn't play the Recruiter here.
Ooh, he's got the Skullcrack as well.
Boros Charm gets you down to 1 here.
Does he have anything that gains him more than 2 life? He's down to 4. What is he going to get?
Are we going to see a remarkable turnaround? Kitchen Finks takes him up to 3.
It's for 3.
But Le Brion can untap and play a Skullcrack after a mulligan to 5. Loic Le Brion pulls out one of the most incredible victories we've seen from a burn deck in a very long time. Oscar Christensen, he thought he was in it to win it, up and about as we welcome you back to the booth, but in an incredible turnaround. Wow.
Mulligans to 5, they win PTs, they certainly win GPs.
That's the way it goes. Incredible. I mean, if you're packing mountains, apparently the way to go is to just get yourself down to 5 cards, because that is all you need. Wow. We looked at that 6-card hand. The 4 lands, the 2 spells, not good enough. Sends it back, picks up the 1 lander, good to go.
He did not draw a single cyber card in the mulligan to 5.
There you go.
That was
Don't need the sideboard.
Yeah.
Chuck him out. Straight in the bin. But that was an incredibly well-navigated piece of magic there from Loic Le Brion. I feel like he didn't do a good job in game number 2, but I tell you what, anything else that he's done has been completely redeemed by that performance, because what a win that he stitched together there, Moraine.
Correctly